He's just out of his mercy, and because everybody needs, there's a provision for everybody to make some progress, so he's helping them.
Yeah. I wonder if one way you could understand it is, I mean, there's probably other ways that he helps them as well, but just because if he's attractive to them, which he is, and so they accept him as their Lord, and he's the greatest Vaishnava, so by associating with the Vaishnava they get purified in their consciousness, so their next birth will be more auspicious.
Absolutely. And about the mode of ignorance, how does he do it? He does it through Durga. It's said in the verse that she's actually the superintendent of the material world, but she's also his wife. So he's through her. More than that, I can't explain. I deliberately steer clear of Lord Shiva and talking about Lord Shiva because I don't know so much about him. Yes, right.
Just a quick question. There was one class, Merlin Manohar, who was in one of our brahmachari classes, and he was talking about how in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes at one point, I can't remember which devotee of his it is, but one of his devotees, who's a devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and maybe Murari Gupta, and he says you, I mean there's a whole pastime, but at the end of the pastime he says, you just worship me and follow my instructions, and I will be Lord Ramachandra for you. And then Sri Ramaraj in his book Shubhakti Chintamani was going on to say that this is how, if a devotee is attracted to a particular deity, they can worship that deity simply by following the Sankirtan movement, by participating in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya and worshipping Lord Chaitanya. So I was thinking, if someone's attached to Lord Shiva, would it be appropriate to say to them, when you, like, to quote that purport and say, look, just see Prabhupada is saying, Lord Shiva, Lord Chaitanya is Shiva. So if you just come dance and chant kirtan, meditate on Lord Chaitanya, thinking this is Lord Shiva, it's the same. Is that okay?
Yeah, he does say that in the purport, so why not?
Just one more quick question, just to clarify. You said.
Is it on the same subject?
Yeah, it's about Shiva.
Briefly then.
Yeah. The moment you said that Chaitanya is Shiva, or Chaitanya is like that, can you clarify once again?
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada just said that he is. It's quite straightforward. He just said he is Shiva. That's fine.
But then it gives a feeling that, like, there was no difference between them, which is...
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adopted... No, he then went on to say, Shiram Yatha Dadi Vikara Vishesha Yoga, that just as milk and yogurt are different, they're the same, but they're different also. Like that. So he says, Lord Chaitanya adopted the mood of Lord Shiva for his Shiva also. Lord Shiva is not different from Lord Vishnu, but still Lord Shiva is not Lord Vishnu. Just as yogurt is nothing but milk, and yet is not milk, nevertheless. One cannot get the benefit of milk by drinking yogurt.
Can you remember this verse?
Yeah, CC Adi Lila 17:100.
What are you first? I wonder, sometimes I have difficulty to understand the differences between actually Vaishnava acharyas. You mentioned Madhvacharya, right? First was Ramanujacharya, then was Madhvacharya, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, to my condition and understanding, their philosophies look the same. Krishna is the supreme, there's two, there's Krishna, there's a Jiva.
Well, ultimately, they are very similar.
Their creations.
They are very similar, but there are differences in emphasis.
Could you describe maybe in short, one sentence, the main difference, what they are missing, Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because actually it looks the same.
Well, Ramanujacharya, he emphasized, he said there's two. He actually brought it from the point of being everything's one to saying no, there is two.
What are these two?
Sorry?
What are these two?
Well, God and his creation of it. He said they're distinct. But it wasn't, he emphasized it a little bit less. But Madhvacharya, he emphasized, actually, as far as I understand, that completely different. Much more emphasis on the two, on the being duality. God and his creation and living entities are completely different. So, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said actually they are different, but they're also the same. That's he did the Veda time. It's actually there's not so much difference, but anyway, it's because Madhvacharya is in our line. Ramanujacharya is a Vaishnava also, so they're worshipping the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Who was,
the main question is, how do you account for creation? Now, as everything is a miracle, a fly is a miracle, a blade of grass is a miracle. For all these miracles to work in conjunction, like in vast orchestration, the statistical probability of all that being an accident is zero. So there has to be a God, there has to be a creator.
Absolutely, agreed.
So, thank you for reminding us of these nice passages for which I just had a few little comments. One is, regarding the Buddhist being unfit for discussion, one way of presenting that is that in the spiritual circles, discussion is based on the scripture. Because the Buddhists, they don't accept the scripture, they can't really discuss on the basis of scripture. And as far as the Maya body is increasing the sense enjoyment, basically there's real no higher taste from the Maya body practice. Therefore, all there is sense enjoyment. Regarding the difference between these different Vaishnava philosophies, it's very clearly stated the difference between the Madhvacharya followers of Lord Chaitanya's philosophy, because they had a discussion. Basically, Lord Chaitanya asked the Pavaladis, who were the followers of Madhva, what the goal of life was and how to attain it. And they said the goal of life is the Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, and the way to do it is to do your Varnashram duty for the pleasure of Vishnu. And Lord Chaitanya accused them of misleading him and cheating him out of the real goal. And so the real goal is the love of Godhead, and the real process is hearing and chanting that Vishnu.
Ramanujacharya, what's missing there?
I don't know so much about him, but there's also one thing is, it's described that Lord Chaitanya took two principles from each of the four Vaishnava Sampradayas. Do you remember any of those?
Well, I think Ramanujacharya was service with devotees to the Vaishnavas, and with Madhvacharya was deity worship. The worship of Krishna as the deity of Krishna. Ramanujacharya, those are two I remember.
Yeah, so there's four, so there's 8 of them, 2 for each of these four that Lord Chaitanya incorporated.
Anyway, we're supposed to finish the half hour on this. Discuss another time. There's interesting on there. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Praise Gaura Krishna Prabhu ki
Jai. Gaura Bhakti